we had a video last week. It was talking about feminine communication. And this young lady and I had an exchange back and forth, and it was really good, healthy dialogue. You know, we could even agree to disagree. I had my opinions and thoughts, she had hers. And of course, my goal, I put out this information, I put out this conversation because I'm a student of it, I'm passionate of it, and I want to be of value. And so going deeper into understanding some of the ways that divine energy, specifically divine feminine energy, gets collapsed and misunderstood and, how would you say, just all mixed up with other conversations such as gender. Especially when topics of masculine and feminine come into play, it is so easy for the societal norms and conversations that are out there, the lack of information and understanding, that I'll be halfway into a conversation and maybe in a debate, a back and forth of trying to give someone some understanding into the divine energies at play, where I start to hear and recognize, oh, we're not in the same conversation. Young lady I was talking with was speaking to some of the traits of masculine and feminine, which is what the post was. Started with feminine communication, ways to communicate in a more feminine approach. And it was taken as my stance or position as I assert, you know, as it occurred to me. Her comments occurred that I was saying that men communicate one way, women communicate another way. And it's kind of half side of the coin, as I always view it. You know, men and women, we're all human beings, we're all equal, and we're different, just two different sides of the coin. And so if you collapse a conversation for energy, divine masculine and feminine energy that we all have, both of us, we all have both energies inside of us, it's easy to get mixed up if you're talking about how men behave, traits, distinctions and so forth, and how women behave, traits, because we all have anecdotal evidence where we are using both at any given time in our life. And if we use that as the representation, the symbols, the icons, when we think masculine, feminine, we're not thinking about the energy, we're just thinking about men, women, we're just thinking about him, her, gender, sex, other conversations you can really miss sight of. And I found that in the comments we were going back and forth and we weren't actually getting clear. Well, yes, I feel women can absolutely tap into their feminine power. And even to that, we were talking about the differences in masculine power and feminine power. Again, I'm referring to the energies. So there's a difference in how that power shows up, and taking us back to the basics, taking us back to the fundamentals, the basic building blocks of divine energy, explaining it over and over, because when you get these principles and fundamentals, it's these little shifts that have nothing to do with what's at the surface, nothing to do with what you're actually doing day in, day out, nothing to do, period, especially when we come over to the divine feminine side. So when you get these basics and fundamentals in play, then you start to shift your way of being. Then you start to shift the way you, and now you know, well, maybe I can put away that hammer that I keep knocking the shit out of everything like it's a nail, and let me actually relax. And for you, so first we're going to start with what feminine energy is not, by going over to the masculine side of, and I'm going to contrast them and just give you the opposite. So masculine energy is the assertion, the forward progress. What does that look like on the opposite side? Well, if you can imagine, it's going to come off a feminine influence. So the masculine, I touched on it earlier, masculine asserts its will into the world, into the space, into the conversation. That is why it is always direct. Feminine influence plays a more passive role. Now, uncollapse anything that you have about passivity. Passive does not mean that there is a loss of power or less power. I want you to shift it and look at it this way. Masculine has to assert, because all masculine has is the realm of the, so if the physical presence is not there, there's nothing else. If there's not the presentation, the demonstration, the strength, the power, all in the physical realm, masculine has nothing else. So that's the difference, is it's going to assert because it has to force its hand. It has to interact and yield with everything else out there. Now, influence. Now, this is only my perspective. Influence is so much more powerful because without the assertion, the feminine can draw back and attract. You know, if you've ever gone hunting or have a hunter in your family or know anything about hunting, the bait that you use that is most powerful. Because yes, you can go chase, tigers, you can go chase lions, you can go chase elephants, mastodons, and going back to the primitive times. But if you can find their bait, if you can bring what they're looking for, whatever you're trying to get, if you can get what that thing wants, you can bring it to you. into your domain, how much more powerful is that? So instead of having to assert, instead of having to bring the presence, instead of having to dominate, which can be in the shadow side, stepping onto that immature, it can be a bit of a tyrant with the masculine energy. Instead, with the feminine, you're looking to influence, you're looking to persuade, you're looking to cajole. Now, again, not a sense of a presence. We're not talking about gun to the head duress. I'm making you do the thing, getting you to do it. No, we're just talking about the gentle. Well, I know that you over here are aligned with this goal, and I want to have this goal over here accomplished. So who can I align with over here that meets you where you are to get what you want? And it's a win-win-win. Everyone gets what they want. So feminine, without doing anything, gets to influence, and through that interaction actually gets to have the goal accomplished. That's the difference in achieving, actually going out to do something and accomplishing that it gets done without you necessarily having to do it. Another way that they differ, masculine energy is going to be hard, factual. Give me the data, give me the numbers, give me the dollars and cents. I don't want anything else. Feminine is the soft feeling. Well, okay, we've got the data, we've got the information. What was that experience like? That's where it comes to the accomplishment. What did we learn along the way? How are these people left in the process, right? There's importance to all of it. Masculine can take over a new territory, can expand the boundaries in the perimeter. So everything's growing, getting bigger and bigger. But inside the village walls, if people are sick and dying, if there's famine, there's not enough food for everyone to be fed, what is it all worth it? That whole society, that whole empire will collapse. And you can look throughout history where it's happened over and over and over again. There has to be balance. So it's not that one's more important. Yes, you can get the dollars and cents. Yes, you can get the cold, hard facts. It's logical, it's pragmatic. But at the same time, if you're not in touch with how it feels, we're working so hard, we're working like slaves. Someone who's chasing for financial freedom, they go to be their own boss. Nobody's telling them what to do, but now they're a slave to their business. So if they stop working, their business stops working. What's a better situation? Well, one had benefits. Somebody was telling me what to do, but I could expect that paycheck like clockwork. Now I've got the freedom to do whatever I want to do, but if I don't work, I don't eat. If I have a bad week, it's all on me. I can't expect everything to be consistent. See, there's difference and balance to that. It's not that one's better, worse. It's a different context and understanding. Masculine identifies to the self, answers the question, who am I? Whereas feminine identifies to the group. It's all about relations. Not necessarily romantic, like I said, relationship, but how do we relate to each other? So yes, who am I? I'm a chief of a village, leader of a tribe. However, if everyone's ready for a mutiny, to throw a coup because I'm not taking care of them, tax money is not being spent properly, they're going to have a revolution, they're going to throw me out of government, it's all has to be balanced. So you can't just have the identification of self inside the masculine energy. That's great. That sets the boundaries, sets the parameters, it sets the context and the frame of how everything's going to work. People are respected, we're healthy, we're happy, we're the dominant force. The feminine identifies to the group. Well, is everyone actually feeling good? Is everyone satisfied in life? If anybody's the haves and have-nots, eventually the have-nots are going to overthrow because it's just numbers, balance, society, civil organization, society. When you put people together, if everyone's not winning, if there's a losing side, eventually it becomes us and them. Eventually the haves and have-nots becomes a civil conflict. That's where civil wars come from. Masculine is the realm of the physical space. Again, I touched on it before, because it's the working, because it is the doing, because it is the activity, it can only show itself. It's only tangible where you can put your hands on it, where you can see it. Now, one of the things that you're probably already aware of is that's a hindrance. That's complete. I was talking about what's more powerful. Feminine energy is in the ephemeral, the ether, the energy that's out there. So inside that, you can't see it. So that's a dangerous thing in the context that if you overlook it, if you take it for granted, you may say that, oh, it's not real. Well, we all know. You have to know, because it's 80% of the planet is of water. We can't see it all. It's beneath the surface. It's down deep sea where we can't even survive. That's the power of it. They always show the tip of the iceberg. If you've ever seen that meme, tip of the iceberg, and the majority of it is under the water. Same thing for the feminine energy. Feminine energy is so energetic, it is in everything. Right now, I'm over the web talking to you. The technology and unseen things taking this message from where I am up in Virginia to wherever you are in the world right now, live and direct, that's coming through energy. That is powerful. It doesn't matter how strong I am. It doesn't matter how powerful my voice is. There is no way where I am right now in this space and time I can reach you without the unseen technology at play. So those are some of the differences that can help us recognize masculine and feminine energy. Nature is going to operate with efficiency and effectiveness. So there's no room for duplication. If you look at nature, God doesn't paint in straight lines, right? So it's not so systematic like we would manufacture to create. Everything has to have its own perfection, and even that perfection is imperfect, right? One side of your body is bigger than the other, slightly, right? More dominant. So the same thing happens with these energies. If the masculine energy, which has to, as I explained, assert itself, it has to be, in order to be respected, it has to take up space. It has to have a loud, booming voice. It has to bring that physical presence because that is the realm that it operates in, the physical. In the energetic, there's no need for all that size. There's no need for that space. There's no need for that power. And even if you think about it, the way feminine attracts, draws things in, if anything, it's not the size of the magnet, it's the strength of the polarity. So when that energetic alignment is pulling, it's irrelevant if it's a huge magnet or a small magnet. The level of the power, the attraction that it's drawing in, that's what's actually going to control the power of the thing. So if you're looking at the energies, and with all respect, removing sex and gender, a man or a woman inside of their masculine energy is going to assert their presence. They're going to have to step in. They're going to have to put themselves in place to make sure that their will is asserted onto the environment. The feminine energy is a powerful play. Now, the way its power is over influence. It doesn't need to physically do anything. It doesn't need to push an agenda of anything. If anything, it can sit back and withdraw the energy. Let's start looking at the individual level. Let's look at self-care. So self-care in a masculine realm is going to be your physical body, right? Physical fitness, your actual strength, building up the muscles, doing the rest, whether you increase your cardiovascular health, you can walk further, run further, faster. Those are all ways of self-care, because right now, drop everything, go for a dead sprint outside. You're going to be out of breath, tired, you're not conditioned, you're not ready for it. This is your self-care. If an emergency happens and you need to run to get away, what they say in the zombie movies, the people who are out of shape, people who are out of old, people who aren't conditioned, they're the first ones to go. It's the same thing. That is a level of self-care. You see, the masculine, our bodies, our flesh, these temples that carry our soul, it goes throughout the world. So if it's not conditioned, if it's living this sedentary lifestyle, sitting in a chair all day, the legs, blood isn't getting circulated, the heart is not pumping, the lungs are not drawing, that is a self-care. Use it or lose it. The body's going to shut down. Your ability to then navigate through life, to then be independent, to be mobile, to be healthy. If that self-care is not there, that's your diet, nutrition, what you're putting in your body, how you're feeding your body, self-care, how you are stretching, maintaining the flexibility, the actual range of motion. These are the things in your physical space that are going to require your self-care, and that's taking care of the masculine side. Now flip it. How do you self-care for your feminine? Well, this is going to be your, how do you care for your energy? It's going to be the actual experience. Are you dealing with, the blue light at night? They put on the blue light blockers because that interrupts the energy and keeps your mind awake, makes it so that your circadian rhythms, where you can fall asleep, get into deep sleep, get rest, all those conditions are getting more to the energy of things. So your self-care of getting a massage. Why? Because this helps you relax. Now there's a physical element to it, because it is going to partially stretch, just like your yoga is going to, increase the muscle tone, increase the flexibility in that way. However, it compounds to be more in the feminine space because you're going to be at rest. You're going to be relaxing, letting someone do something for you, letting someone massage you, letting someone bring out the oils, the incense, the fragrance, the white noise in the background. That's an experience. Can you feel that? Feel it, right? Just as I talk about and describe it, I'm giving you factual things, but those things create an environment that feel a certain way. Self-care. Where do you control your energy? Meditation, breath work, taking time to be still, to be quiet. See, that self-care is going to give the mind ease, going to release the pressure, take off the anxiety, take off the stress. Those are the ways that you do self-care in that space. Taking care of yourself. Maybe it's putting on lotion, your skincare routine, moisturizing routine, your grooming, because how you look, when you look good, you feel good. These are in the feminine space. This is your self-care. It counts just as much. Getting a manicure, pedicure, those are the things that make you feel good. Why? Is it functionally doing anything? To flip it right back. You get up every morning and go run 1 mile. You're going to be able to run faster, run longer, have better lungs and endurance. Will you feel good about that? I highly doubt it. If you've done any type of physical activity, it doesn't feel good. It actually takes something. It is a challenge. It's the space of the masculine. It's hard. It's physical. It's enduring every time. I've been running for years, and every time my blood is low, my heart is pumping, I feel tired. I feel like I want to stop. And it's the endorphin release and everything after that. Oh, I ran longer. Oh, my lap was faster. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting more conditioned. This feels a bit easier. So I start to feel good about myself, but that's self-care in the masculine energetic realm, and that's how it improves. Has nothing to do with the feeling. Now, over here in the feminine, self-care, I was talking about getting a mani-pedi. Self-care, I was talking about your moisturizing routine. Now, does that effectively help me do anything over in the masculine? Not at all. My nails being trimmed and proper. Now, there's certain activities, and that's an adult space and a whole other conversation, but that really has no impact on my performance, what I can do. I would just feel better about myself knowing that my skin is moisturized. I would feel better about myself knowing that I'm groomed up. And while I am traveling on vacation, I have skipped a few things. The whole context is how I'm feeling over here does not impact what I can do over here. So these two different self-care realms, this is where I want you to get the examples and difference. These are, again, breaking down spaces where masculine, spaces where feminine. The difference being, we're going to look at, first off, what is not feminine. Masculine enters a room, it must assert its presence. That masculine is taking up space, chest puffed, chin high, deep baritone voice. You can hear it projecting across the room. There's a presence that is not sensed, but you can actually see it. Who is that person that everyone's making room for? Who is that person on a pace to go talk to the president of the company, chairman of the board at the other side of the room? Look at them, diligent, straightforward. Everyone's getting out of the way, the servers, the guests. Nobody wants to disrupt them because there's an assertion, there's a presence of masculine energy, not felt, but seen in the room. Now, flip that. Say the guest is the feminine counterpart to that masculine energy, darting across the room, yelling, letting the president know, I've got a bone to pick with you. We need to exchange words. This is happening right now. It's a force to be reckoned. Feminine partner walks in, says not a thing, isn't even noticed as she comes into the room. But if you notice this, and yes, I am using his and her, the sex in that, just for this example, make it the same person if you want to. When the feminine enters the room, it does not need to take over the space at all. Feminine draws the attention in. It would be the colors, the style, the cut of the dress. Maybe it shows amount of skin. Maybe it's respectfully, tastefully elegant, you know? As they enter the room, the textures, the shimmering, really perfect. Catching Fire, Katniss Everdeen, Hunger Games. You know, the whole thing was about her dress. That's something where she captivated. There's a special dress in there where to get attention, to get sponsors and funding inside. Great movie. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. Hunger Games, Katniss Everdeen, the main character, wears a dress where puts on a demonstration, kind of a magic show, an illusion. The dress catches fire. And it was just the talk of the town. Same example. That masculine energy comes in, direct, forceful. You're going to hear me. You're going to see me. Get out of my way. It's a force to be reckoned with. The feminine enters, says not a word, and all eyes are on that feminine energy. And again, this can be man or woman. If a man comes in with a bright red tuxedo, dressed to impress, tailored, it's going to gather the attention. He doesn't have to project his voice. She doesn't have to project her voice. Whatever the case, I really want to take the sex and gender out of it and just get the difference. And that's the same power. That masculine walks through, get out of his way. He doesn't have to do anything. You just know it commands and demands. The feminine energy, I'm actually take that back. The masculine commands the respect. Get out of my way. It forces it. The feminine energy demands, draws in, attracts. Just standing there in the corner, hasn't said a word, but oh, the who's who of the town wants to talk. What's going on with her? What kind of energy does he or she have? You're attracted to it and can't help but to be drawn in. That's powerful. Both of these energies can shut down a room. Both of these energies can be seen from a mile away. The reasons why is the difference. Getting something done. This is another group context that is completely different. The masculine energy, I always say this, and that's actually my attraction analogy. Masculine energy is good with the hands, got the strength working in the physical. We'll get the lumber, the 2x4s, we'll pour the concrete, we'll throw up a frame, put a roof on it, windows, sidewall, we're building the house. Feminine energy, align. Well, you want to have a temple where people can temple where people can worship. You want to have the tax write-offs over here. The people need this to happen so that they have a place to get their connection to God and spirituality. Connecting everyone together, whispering in the ear, dropping favors. Well, someone over here has got the building company. Someone over here has got the tax write-off and benefits. Well, the People's Council, the local community, their leaders are speaking that they need this. Put all these together, and now we have a team coming together as a collective. Clouds part, and down from the heavens, manifested, is now the temple. So when I speak to getting things done, they both have power to get something done. Masculine, take charge, I'll do it myself, I'll lead it myself, I'll put a team together and we'll get it done. Feminine, well, I know somebody who needs this. I know somebody who has those services. I know somebody who has those resources. I know somebody who would like to see it done. And I want to win through the whole thing. Bringing everyone together, not necessarily doing anything, and through the connection of the village, it happens. It's manifest. Mary over there is looking for this. Yeah, you need to talk with her. Oh, Susan knows that Tom is talking with Fred and they want to get together next year. This is the goal they're trying to hit. I know somebody in that industry. We need to connect. So without doing anything, the power of feminine can still get things.